to see exactly what Protoss is doing. Not exactly, but getting a feel for it.
Yeah.
You can really, really play into that end game stage comfortably, and that's, of course, where Ret loves to go to.
All right, let's get player introductions underway. Starting in the bottom left, we have a player from Team Slayers, the runner-up from MLG Spring Championships. You all know him as Slayers Alicia.
And in the top right-hand position as the Red Zerg, it is the king of drones, Liquid Red. A lot of Red fans.
Yeah, and again, like you said, Daybreak, a very long distance map. It's really tough to try to go for a huge attack without Zerg really seeing it. But Alicia on this map specifically loves huge 2-base bling timings, loves huge 2-base immortal timings, things like that. That's what we saw him do countless times in NASL Season 3 thus far. And even back in MLG, if you watch some of his run, he did some of those kinds of things on Daybreak. Just because, again, shutting down that third is so important. And you can see that, again, because Daybreak has that long distance, usually try to bring a War Prism with that play. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Alicia, again, try to go for 2-base timing.
Yeah, and I would love to see War Prisms as well. And I would love to see War Prisms as well. War Prisms are really good on this map, just like Ohana. When I was talking about the mutas, it's a line formation. Not only that, a single War Prism can take a lot of units out of position. So I think that would be a very good choice on this map. A little interesting, he did go Forge first. I think that was actually a response to seeing no spawning pull down, and he wanted to punish a potential 15 hatchery. We have seen that be recirculated into the ZVP metagame. It's very, very tiny amounts of times, but it's just because obviously Zergs are trying to be a little bit more greedy than their Protoss opponents when they do go for a Nexus first.
Yeah, and it's just a nice little small adaptation, but nothing too extraordinarily different. And at this point, Red's just going to do everything else pretty normal. By that means he's going to take for 3 hatchery and just play pretty greedy. Now let's talk a little bit about Alicia, what he did last game with that sentry drop. Do you think was that okay? Even though he saved the sentries, was it worth investing that much? Did he do enough damage?
I mean, what he's trying to do is just slight pressure, just try to bother his opponent while he's getting those really powerful units, which are the Immortals, which are the Colossus. And once he has those, it's just a regular 2-base with just a slight pressure to kind of hinder your opponent as much as possible. So, in reality, I would say no, it didn't do enough damage, but just with the layout overall of Shakura's Plateau, it helped Alicia so much to just get in that position, sneak on through, and then maintain that position so easily. Colossus just beat down on all the roaches, and it was game over.
All right, so with that, we can see pretty much that it's very standard openings from both sides. We have to really pay attention to if Alicia is going to choose to tech directly after this Cybernetics core. He does have a lot of gas saved up. This is a little bit more than normal, and then you're able to really use that first 100 gas on that +1 usually. But Alicia has chosen to forego it, and instead he's going to try to use it for something else. And there's the Stargate immediately placed down.
Interesting. Stargate on Daybreak. Now, we have seen this a couple of times. And again, it's to punish the line format expansion that I keep talking about. But, I think because it is such a big map, you run into a lot of trouble actually having the Void Rays do a lot of damage. And how many Void Rays can you really get across map? Is it going to be 1? Well, 1 really doesn't do that much. A single Spore Crawler can shut things down. So you need to invest more than that. So normally, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird to do it on such a long map. Your opponent knows that you have to invest more than just 1 Void Ray.
Yeah, but I mean, Protoss like MC love doing this as well, just to control the map normally and really cover different areas. And you can eventually use those Phoenixes as really good disablers of the opponent's army. You can see MC do that as well when he played against Stefano. That said, Ret pretty much got all the information he could dream. Oh, actually, no, he missed that Stargate.
Missed it, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty insane.
The Void Ray will come out, and the first time he actually sees it will be all the way over, probably in the middle of the map, actually. Does he have any evolution chambers coming out? No, he does not. That might be pretty critical. On top of that, don't forget, he doesn't have a lot of queens or creep spread. So, again, that's going to hinder him quite a bit. This Void Ray might be able to do a lot of damage, actually.
Well, Ret does have a Zerg. He's trying to poke at the natural front to see if he's able to see anything. But there's really nothing that tells him, oh, other than that one Phoenix, but Ret still doesn't have that information. Oh, the Void Ray just killed that Overlord, though, so yes, Ret now knows. He doesn't have that Evo Chamber done just yet, so he doesn't have the Spores on the way. But as long as Ret can really shut down this the Stargate play, then he'll be sitting pretty nice. He can be comfortable. In fact, Ret's droning under this because he feels like he can really hold it off.
Yeah, and he should be able to, especially, this is so interesting. He's stopping on one Void Ray. And this is to actually try to, like, induce more damage from your opponent reacting too hard to this, making too many spores. But again, with the recent queen change, that doesn't really happen anymore. The queens are pretty self-sufficient, so I almost feel like this is a little ill-fated. This is going to be very difficult to do a lot of damage, significant damage, to actually have it, you know, pay back for how much it costed.
You see that Ret's going for an early Hydra then. He really wants to get that tech available to him. He doesn't have to use it, but of course, dealing with this Stargate unit is a lot easier. Look at this. Good job by Alicia to just pick off whatever units he can. Picking off a Queen here and Overlord there is just really nice to utilize it. But still, heavy investments from Alicia. Now this is something kind of cool. This is something that was really popular with players like Hero, but back when he was first coming out to the scene, just using a Void Ray and Observer to pick off creep tumors. And it's just a really nice way to really contain Ret's vision and control the map.
For now, I mean, Alicia's doing surprisingly good damage, so I have to give it to him. He's actually doing so much here, and it actually gives a lot of room for Warp Prism play to be good. You can see the coverage of Overlords on the map doesn't really allow you know, Ret to react, excuse me, to prepare for things. So he has to react, and let's say there is, a force field right here, obviously with all the Warp Prism units on top and Void Rays, well, that can be very damaging, and obviously Alicia can get way ahead from there.
Ret does have several Hydras out onto the field, but the big thing is that Alicia knows that he forced it to switch directly into Colossus, the very standard transition in PvP to try to force Hydra and then switch into that ever so powerful death ball of KoTH units. Again, Alicia, the big thing is that he's keeping these units alive. He's not just trying to dive to pick off a queen or just kill some drones and lose the Phoenix, but really just control the zones. But it's flying directly over the Hydras. Ooh. And does manage to lose one, almost lost two there.
Third base is going down for Alicia, as we were talking about before, but I don't really think Ret can do anything from here. You can see the supplies. They're pretty similar, 124 to 110. This is the point where a lot of Zergs are actually approaching that 160 mark. And it's actually quite surprising. So the Sentries have done a lot, the Phoenixes have done a lot of damage. Income tab shows 83 Harvesters to 58. So you can see most of the supply is in drones. He's just constantly reinvesting more and more drones. And yeah.
Just good snipes overall. The Void Ray on the bottom and trying to see if they can harass that expansion. But again, Ret doing a good job just for now, taking over the map again slowly after recovering from that early lack of anti-air. You can see that Ret also is going for a hive, and Alicia doesn't have that in his vision. If he skirts up just a little bit, he would see and be able to gauge this timing accordingly, and there he finally does. And with that information, it's very key here, very fast.
Yeah, that should tell him, hey, I need to push out pretty soon and hit the timing right before some sort of huge hive tech comes out. There is another interpretation of actually defending against this. You can easily just say, well, I'm going to hit you when you just get your hive units out, because normally you need some sort of meat, some sort of like roach count or something like that to support and keep your hive units alive, namely Broodlords or even Ultras. You know, your Zerglings aren't really that developed to deal with the Protoss army, so there is that timing as well. We'll see how Alicia actually does this.
Okay, so Alicia now has 3 bases pretty comfortably. No real contest because Ret just takes his 4th and 5th base accordingly. And now Ret's starting to spine up the center of the map, which is really important area for Zerg just to hold and to make sure to anchor himself in terms of Daybreak. Now look at this. We see Warp Prism speed being researched as well from Alicia. Really cool, because we've seen players, even when Ret played Hero back at DreamHack, that was an awesome series, where you saw lots of War Prism play. Oh, a great series of slams as well for Ret, picking off the remainders of the Phoenixes, and that's going to be really good, especially to make sure his Infestors are okay.
Wow, so many Corruptors are coming out here. Now, it's interesting. Does he keep them as Corruptors, or is he going to use them just to take out the Colossus initially? Because Colossus actually handle Broodlords surprisingly well. That sounds weird, but their Broodlings are the main things that really trouble a lot of the Stalkers and the ground units from getting up in range and doing damage to it. If you can actually remove those Broodlings pretty effectively, then you're in a position where, yes, you can deal with the Broodlords pretty nicely with just straight-up Stalkers. We haven't yet gotten to that area where, full-out Mothership is going on. So this is a really tough time at the mid-end game stage.
Oh, Speed Prism in the bottom right now working with units to try to harass at this point. And you can see that even though Alicia doesn't get incredible amount of kills, now he's just weakening defense, sending another War Prism to the main. This is what we're talking about, being everywhere on the map. And the big thing is Alicia also has DTs. Warping in as well to really deal with Ret's ability to defend. And he's going after Spore Claws as well, now starting to work on some of the drone count. And this is where Ret kind of struggled back in DreamHack doing with this huge multi-prong harass.
Yep, Zerglings will get in here, and there is another Spore Crawler to help out. Look at that, merges into an Archon. That's really suspicious. But then, of course, dies. The Warp Prism gets out of there because of the Corruptors that are right around the corner. Alicia just going to take his Nexus. So interesting, just not leaving, not looking to push out on his opponent. Instead, just looking to meet straight up with it with this Mothership. That's I don't know if this is strong or not. It's really hard for me to tell.
Well, we'll find out in just a second. Zerglings are going in without the support of the rest of the units. The rest units are kind of disorganized at this point, trying to see if they can rally them to get everything in line. Fungals do drop and try to hit some of those units, and the Colossi drop really quickly, but the Corruptors are pretty much useless after this point, and there's not a lot of actual army to Ret's units. You can see that he has Infestors and Corruptors, and he's losing a lot of them to Charizards.
I like that he actually sniped out the Colossus, though. That's so powerful. In the meantime, there is a Void Ray going on in the main, taking out this Infestation Pit, which is pretty important, actually. But, I don't know where Ret's army is, and it's a shame that he actually lost all of those Infestors.
He had a lot of drones at that point. He had like 90-some drones at one point, and I think he's now starting to put it in other areas as well, lowering his count. Look at that. The main Infestation Pit gets saved just barely. That Void Ray almost snagged everything. But you can see that at this point, Alicia's comfortable. His Mothership is about to pop, and that'll allow him to really wait for that energy for the Vortex. A huge Zealot run by attempt here at the bottom base of Ret. And Ret doesn't really have the force in position to defend it. Now trying to rush there, but again, he gives up some position in the center of the map.
He will kill a lot of Zealots over here, though. But really, he's just trading minerals for gas income, which I don't hate at all. Alicia is actually playing this really nicely, but going up into the middle of the map, he has no way to actually stop Infestor Broodlord in this position. You need to be super careful until that Void Ray, War Prism, Mothership comes out and actually has enough mana. Where is that?
And the Mothership's at the third base now. He's going to the fourth. Now this is a really critical time of which Alicia really has to be careful with what he feels his army will supply, because he drops a Temporal Archons. He doesn't have the Archons ready to deal with anything. If he should drop a Vortex, he doesn't have enough to even drop a single Vortex. He's at 80 energy, so it's a very thin timing that Ret's trying to traverse, and I think he's about to find out where the Mothership is. It's right there, but Alicia's backing off. He needs more time. And the Mothership's about 90 energy, so about 10 more seconds he should be able to get it up, but will it be enough time? Did he give up too much position?
In the meantime, of course, the main is under attack, but taking out this fourth base is critical. If he can take out the third base or even the natural, that would be even better as well. But he's going to move in here. There is a single Colossus. That'll help out so much. Oh, no, he sees the Mothership. There's the big blink on top of the Broodlords.
He wants to get the Vortex off, and Ret is clipping over. He has everything on Vortex. Oh no, Ret now doesn't have anything protecting the Broodlords, and Alicia with a massive blink sends the Archons into the Vortex, and everything in the main is dying as well. The Infestation Pit has dropped, and a lot of tech has suffered as a result. And look at the desecration of the Zerg army. That was disgusting.
Oh man, Ret got cleaned up so easily there. Just one Mothership Vortex is able to do that, and the Archons coming in at the last second helps out extremely. Ret down to 155 supply. whereas Alicia has 138. And look at this, additional Dark Templars going into the main, trying to take out that Hive, but of course it will be stopped.
Great job by Alicia. They really utilized War Prisms. Now he's moving over to the southern part of the map, and Red doesn't really have that strong of an army to confront at this point. He's got a lot of roaches, but that's pretty much it. He's got a few corruptors also to deal with the Colossus, but now Alicia is just pressing in and really trying to take care of the exterior sort of expansion. And you can see Red trying to see if he can cut off his escape path, but as long as Alicia plays a little bit more conservative to snipe bases and fall back, he will be okay. But Red's just trying to cut him off as well, trying to see if he can go for the direct confrontation.
Oh, this will be very difficult for Red to actually do anything. If Fungal Growth goes down, that'll help out a little bit, but I don't think he'll be able to take out this army. There's just too much Protoss in here. Blink Stalkers are really, really effective against this composition. And look at that, Red gets cleaned up very easily. Income tab showing 61 to 64. Alicia is ahead in this game.
Yeah, Alicia also, trying to rebuild that fourth base, and the Zergling try to go for a mini run by. But again, great job. Just in general, having map presence everywhere you go. There's definitely like a presence of Alicia somewhere. Whether or not he's using his war presence, whether or not he's attacking at one area. And at this point, what can Red really do?
I mean, Red has to play a lot more conservative and a lot more defensive. I mean, that last attack, yes, it was good, but he needs to make sure that all of his bases are covered. He cannot be a victim to this harassment. This constant Zealot War Prison play is just getting to be too much for Red, and he's falling apart. He's crumbling because of it. After he had a very, very nice advantage, I think, in the beginning stages.
The Zealots are now working onto the Hive. The Zerglings are trying to stall, but the Zealots are not targeting it, so Red does save it for another day, but that War Prism is just so annoying and frustrating. But Red sends a huge flock of Corruptors with one mission, and that is to retreat.
For now, just mass Zerglings. I mean, Red is trying to rebuild his whole army, and he's going to have this point where it's just he has a surplus of minerals or gas. Now, where does he actually go from there? He needs Infestors, he needs Broodlords. Those are the two main units he needs. And then after that, just a surplus of Corruptors and just ground stuff, whether it be Roaches or Zerglings. He's just so far away from all of that. He's still working on Broodlords. He doesn't really have that much to confront the ground. And right now, I mean, we can see there's only a single Colossus, so the Corruptors are going to be pretty useless for now. Yeah,
Alicia's been playing this very systematic and slow. In fact, he's not even keeping his mothership with him, using it just in, I guess in case he ever gets fungal, he's just going to recall and really make sure that his army is going to stay safe. His hunting expansion and playing a very strangling style at the bottom. You see that Red losing another base, but more importantly, a lot of drones as well. Red can't keep affording to trade like this, or actually not trading at all, just losing units.
Oh, and look at this, the Hive is going to go down. Alicia takes a huge advantage in this game, if he didn't already have one. Of course, 200 to 123. And this is looking sad for Red, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, Alicia is just, he's playing very nicely. He's attacking from the top and the bottom. This is almost like what he wanted to do on Shakuras as well. Just really put Red from every which direction, and you can't really focus on it. And now the time has come. You can see the mothership has really detached itself from the bases, and he's moving out. And what does Red really have to confront this army? He's got nothing, really.
No, he doesn't. I mean, there's not enough Broodlords out here. It's unfortunate. He reinvested all into Infestors. Look at how many Infestors and 5 out on the way. Oh my goodness.
He's got 2 Vortexes as well, and Red really wants to target on that mothership, but the Infestors get caught by the Vortex, and almost nothing remains. And you can see a fungal drops in the Stalkers, but they enjoy swimming in the green, and there's almost nothing really that Red can do. All the units are just going to pop out, everything will die, and Red is forced to GG. Alicia ties up the series 2-2 and sends it to a best-of-3.
My goodness. You know, Red was really impressive that game. I know we've been talking about him the whole time, but Alicia picking his opponent apart, really punishing Red for not being able to situate both main and, I guess, 5th base all the way on the bottom right-hand position. That's what you have to do in those positions. You have to take care of the extremes and make it manageable for your main army to only go to the natural or to the 3rd base or the 4th base around there. On Daybreak, it's a little bit similar. Make sure that your Roaches and your Zerglings and your ground units are able to just move around to a set amount of areas, and then use Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers for the rest.
All right, so with that, we'll thank Kingston HyperX for everything they do with memory and SSDs for NASL Season 3. And we're going to have a little quick replay of some of the action we just saw. As we can see a huge fight, that huge vortex
Yeah.
from Alicia was so devastating.
So here I feel like Ret felt pressured to actually push in. I think the correct decision most of the time is just to back up, but because he was actually losing his main, he felt the need to actually keep pushing on. Obviously, that really, really hurt him in this fight, and I think he lost the game just because of this one battle. Look at the supply difference, 142 to 198, and in a second, his army just evaporates.
Yeah, and from there, Alicia was able to just completely control the map and the flow of that game, and now it's completely even the series. It's become a best of 3 from a best of 7. It's tied 2-2. We'll find out what happens in game number 5 when we return here at the NASL Season 3 Live Finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a sec.